Hey, you probably think you know Princess Diana's story, right? The one about the fairy tale, the palace, the tragic death, a story straight out of a movie. But what if I told you the real story is far more complicated, darker, and much more human? That her greatest strength was born after the fairy tale failed. Before she became an icon, she was just Diana Spencer. She dreamed of an ordinary life. She loved children. That's why what happened to her was so extraordinary and so tragic. And then everything exploded. The romance of the decade, young Diana and the prince. The world went mad. Truly, everyone wanted a piece of the fairy tale. The wedding, it was a global spectacle, millions glued to their TVs. The dress, the carriage, the crowds, everything perfect. But wasn't the pressure to be perfect already unbearable even then? Look into her eyes on the balcony. Something was already hiding there. That's why it's so important to look deeper, beyond the official photos. She wasn't content just being the beautiful wife beside the king, though. No, she had a mission. Remember when everyone was terrified of AIDS? She reached out, bare-handed, and touched the sick. See, that was revolutionary. She walked through minefields so that we would pay attention. She leaned down towards suffering because she knew what it felt like to be unseen. That's why people loved her, because they saw not a fairy tale princess, but a human being. Real, with her heart wide open. The fairy tale came at a price. A heavy one. The marriage that was supposed to be perfect. It was falling apart before the world's eyes. Every whisper became a headline, every tear a sensation. And the media? They fell in love with Diana, but that love quickly turned into obsession. A hunt, 24 hours a day. Relentless, can you imagine? Being a star, but feeling trapped. That's why those photos of a lonely Diana at the Taj Mahal speak volumes. She smiled for the cameras, but her eyes screamed something else. The price of fame proved devastating. Finally, she said, "Enough." Her television interview shook the monarchy and the world. She spoke about the pain, the betrayal, life in the gilded cage. It was unprecedented. But it was her voice, reclaimed, strong. The divorce was a formality. That's why she could start over, as a strong, independent woman, as Diana, fashion icon, humanitarian, mother. But do the wolves ever really back down? Can you truly be free when you're Diana? That summer, 97, there was new love, maybe new hope, moments of happiness. But the paparazzi were always there, always, like shadows, hungry for every shot. And then Paris, the city of lights. It was supposed to be different, but it wasn't. One last attempt to escape, from the lenses, from the madness, the car speeding through the night, lights flashing, the tunnel, and the silence. That was louder than any scream. Remember where you were when you heard the news? The world stopped. We couldn't believe it. Diana, gone. The same Diana who shook hands with lepers, who disarmed diplomats with a smile. But her story didn't end there. Look what happened. Millions of flowers. Millions of tears. People wept as if they'd lost someone close, because she was more than a princess. She was a symbol of hope, of rebellion, of humanity. And that legacy, my friend, is immortal. The Queen of Hearts lives on. In us.